I just couldn't help it. I'm making a spoiler video. It's about Before I Let Go because I want to talk about the tea. And I even have tea to go with the tea about this book. Absolutely amazing. Let's go. Hey book nerds, welcome back to my channel, dbooknerd. Thank you to all who have subscribed. I've hit over 200 and working on 300 and hoping we can get to that. I thank you to anyone that has subscribed to my channel, that has watched my channel, that has interacted with my channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm loving the interaction, and just encourage other people to join us and talk about these books in the way that I like to do it, and I hope that you all are liking as well. So, as you can see, or as you already know from the intro, I should say, I'm going to be talking about Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. And I debated, but sometimes the spoiler videos, they don't get a lot of love, the discussion and review, but sometimes they do. And I'm just sorry, I just can't help it. I wanted to talk about this book, and I want some dialogue about it because I need to work this out, and I need to work it out with people that have read this book, and I just want to just talk about how I felt about it and all that good stuff because it was amazing. It was, just so good. So let's get started talking about it. So again, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. And I've been hearing, great things about Kennedy Ryan. This is my first book that I've read by this author. I'm seeing a lot of you are meeting her at book signings, and she's supposed to be coming to the Atlanta area. I think in April. Right now it's sold out, but maybe some tickets will come open and I'll get to meet her as well and get the new book. But anyway, let me get to this book, Before I Let Go. Okay, it is a romance, and I want to again state that this is spoilers. So if you have not read the book, you want to not watch this video, go read the book and please come back. But here we go. So it's a romance. And I would say that this is a contemporary romance. So this isn't your rom-com. And this book is about Yasmin and Josiah. They met in college, I believe. At least I know they got married in college, or he proposed to her in college. And it was a cute, adorable proposal. And it was a college-like proposal. They didn't have much money and all of that, but they were in love. And he proposes and they get married. And it kind of starts off there, with the proposal, and they're going to get married. And then it jumps to the future. And now they're not together. I don't even know where to start because the book is just real. I'm like, Kennedy, did you live through this, or just some of your friends or family? If she did not live through this just like this, she has a way and a knack of writing about the experience as if she lived it. Shoot, I feel like I lived it, and I have not went through any of this in this book. But the writing is impeccable. I did give this book like about a 4.5 stars. And as I already said it in my wrap-up video for February, why I did that. It's just some things in it that I just don't need in a book, or not so much. So some of the cussing and some of the sex scenes and things like that. But all of it's real well written, and all of it's very realistic, and to each their own. It's just some of those things aren't for me. So it's not like I'm telling the author don't do it, because Kennedy Ryan's not trying to listen to me as she's making best-selling books. But it's just something just for my personal taste. But anyway, so they are now divorced, and at first you don't really know why they're divorced. But you're just seeing this woman, you're seeing Yasmin living her life as like a single. I say single like this because they're very much working together as a couple, or as a not husband and wife, but parents. But as a single mom, and they have these beautiful children. Okay, I haven't seen the children, but the way they describe them are beautiful. They describe both. All of them have chocolate skin. The husband, the wife, or the ex-husband, the wife, the kids, and she has a teenage daughter, or they have a teenage daughter, and her name is. Let me look because I will mess it up. Okay, the daughter's name is Deja, and she's a teen, and she has the teen attitude times 100. So you're introduced to that. You know, a lot of eye rolling, a lot of teeth smacking, a lot of things that back in my day would not fly for about 10 minutes. And then they have a son, and his name is, I believe, I want to say Kasim. That's how I pronounce it, Kassim. And yeah, so they have a son, and I think he might be like the preteen age, and he just seems so sweet and so adorable. He seems like a super parent pleaser. You know, I want to make the parents happy kind of thing. But like the kind of son like you would just really want, and just his mannerisms and everything. So you see that there's definitely tension between Yasmin and their daughter Deja. And the daughter definitely acts like she prefers the dad, and his name is Josiah. When he comes to pick them up, she bounds out the door, she hugs him, she kisses him, her face lights up. When she looks at her mom, her face drops. You know, she's complaining, things like that. So Yasmin and Josiah, they own a restaurant, and it's a successful restaurant in this nice area of Atlanta. And I've only been in the Atlanta area a little while, so I was trying to look it up to see if it was real. But I understand the place because where I live is a place similar, has that small town feel. But you're kind of, you know, you're next to or by close to the big city. But they own the successful restaurant, and even through the divorce, they decided to keep working together as business partners, running this wonderful restaurant. So they're running this restaurant. There's, you know, tension, and especially Josiah's feeling some kind of way because come to find out, Yasmin asked for the divorce. And at first, the book doesn't really tell you why she asked for the divorce. We don't know what in the world happened to why they broke up. And then the book starts giving you like tidbits. It gives you tidbits of things that happen. You know, she's walking in the restaurant and she's kind of having maybe a little bit of a panic attack. She's imagining blood on the floor. Instantly, I knew what was going to happen, you know, or what had happened. But there's more, you know, there's more that even than that. So what had happened was they had Josiah's aunt, which was Yasmin's aunt as well. I mean, they're very close. She worked for the restaurant. She was a big part of their lives. She helped, or she actually raised Josiah because his parents passed away when he was younger. So she worked at the restaurant, and apparently she could cook her behind off. I could just taste the food. This was like a nice soul food restaurant in the book. And anyway, she passes away. And not only does she pass away, but within a short span of time, they had also lost a baby. Not only did they lose a baby, this baby died by a stillbirth. And this baby died because Yasmin ended up falling and hurt herself, and the baby ended up dying. She was not able to get up to get to the phone as quick as she could have, or excuse me, not could have wanted to. So the baby did end up dying. She had to deliver the baby, and the baby wasn't alive at this time. And I'm all talking quiet, like, but and when this happened, Josiah was out of town on business. Now, things like this, the deaths cause a lot of tension. They cause a lot of problems. They cause heartache, and it ends up sometimes being very, well, you know, a big strain on marriages. And so Yasmin went through severe depression, no doubt. Or at least we see the focus on her depression. She went on severe depression to where it describes, and I love how they described it because it really just touches how real and how painful depression is. But she went through a severe depression to where she said it actually just hurt. Her body hurt. It was hard for her to get up. She tried to do the little things that she could, like just to take care of her kids. But her husband was getting on her nerves. Josiah was getting on her nerves. And he was making it hurt more, she said, you know. And so eventually she said she needed to let go. She needed to let go of something because the pain was too heavy. The weight of it all was too heavy. And he was the thing that she chose. And part of that, I think she felt resentment because she wanted them to go to marriage counseling after that, or just counseling. He did not want to. He had kind of a pride about himself. He didn't believe he needed it. And so it just felt like there was, she wasn't going to be able to come up for air. And she felt like maybe he wasn't being as supportive or understanding. He wasn't crying and things like that, and he was just working really hard. She wasn't even able to function and help with the business. So then, she had the guilt of not being able to do that, although she just could not. He maybe had felt a little bit of resentment, or it maybe showed that he felt resentment, but really was that he did not know how to handle it. So, they end up getting a divorce. And so he is really upset because he loved her, or loves her, and he couldn't understand why she got rid of him at the hardest time in their life. She's upset because she loves him, and she can't understand why he couldn't be there in a way that she felt he needed to be for her during the hardest time in their lives. So you have that. Children are involved. So you have little Kasim, and he's just trying to make, it appears he's trying to make everybody happy. So he's very, he reminds me of myself. He's very in tune with other people's feelings. So he reads the room. So he knows how to make everybody happy, and he's going to be the best student and be the best this and that, because he wants everybody to be happy. He doesn't want to be the cause of anybody's pain. He wants to lighten it. Now, little Deja is just like the opposite. Deja's going through her thing. She's going through her pain. Her and Kasim lost a sibling. They lost a great aunt. So they're going through their thing. And so hers is more resentment. And all she can see is that her mom kind of fell off. And she and her dad was doing everything. And her mom, she overheard their argument when the mom asked for the divorce. She sees her mom as the one that broke up their family and not their dad. So in their children, they can only see what children can see. So excellent job on that. Excellent. So you just have them going through this and going through life and how they're dealing with being around each other. Yasmin ends up making a group of friends. I think she met them at yoga. One's name is Hendrix. The other one is Soledad. Soledad is the one that the book is coming out on, the next book. And I can't wait because I like Soledad. Hendrix I like too. She's kind of your real extroverted, kind of wild person. But Soledad is kind of the more, she has her little streak too when she can get away from her kids and everything. But Soledad is, kind of more of a homebody and making sure everything's right with her home. And there's issues going on there. Another book, another time. But so she has these friends that are very supportive. I love that. I love the way they made the friends so supportive. And I love that she ended up having these friends. Yasmin does start going to therapy. Yasmin is starting to get better and, progress through her depression, and she's getting back into things. So it's basically like watching a drama. It's better than a soap opera. It's way better, but it's like watching some type of dramatic movie. They're living their lives, and it's a strain. And the part that gets me, and the part that I felt was so real, and where I want to jump through the book, and I don't even know if I had the right to for the book, let alone if it was real life. I did not like Vashi. Was that her name? So they ended up finding another head cook or sous chef. I don't remember what the correct thing is, but she's an amazing, person in that field, and her name is Vashi or Vashi. I never know exactly how to say that word name, but they hire her and she's running the kitchen. So pretty soon it's like her and Josiah running the restaurant, especially when Yasmin was not able to be a part of it. So it looks like we're seeing that Vashi and Josiah become very close. And she's like a nice person. She seems like a very nice person, but you can tell something's going on. They're divorced. Yasmin and Josiah are divorced. I'm still feeling some type of way. I'm irritated. So I can tell something's going on, but the kicker comes in when, one night Josiah, he has the kids or for the day or something like that. And Yasmin goes somewhere. But so Josiah, brings the kids back to Yasmin's house, which was once their house. This really nice house. I think he had custom built and all this and that and the other. And so she's not home. And so she gets home. And she's cool with Josiah being there with the kids. But guess who else is there playing games? They're playing a board game. Vashti. Make it make sense to me. Now, I get that they're not together anymore, but who, in whose mind would it still be okay just to bring some other woman to the house? I mean, like, that just did not make sense to me. So she, of course, Yasmin felt, did not like that. She was irritated and she was wondering why. I divorced him. I didn't want to be with them. I don't have the right to be upset, but yet here I am feeling this type of way. And so I'm feeling that way right with her. I'm like, I could have been the third friend for her, Hendrix, Soledad, and Denise, because I'm here for you. I don't like it either. So anyway, she's irritated, and kind of says it to him. And he's like, what's the big deal? We're not together. And I did want to let you know, and not really this way, but we have been dating. So now you have this. She's starting to feel the feelings are stirred up in her. She's wondering why she's still feeling that way. And so we just kind of go on with that. Vashti's trying to be very respectful and nice. And she even states she doesn't want to ruin any things with the restaurant business and with them dating. And he's like, it's fine, because they're both really trying to act very mature in this whole situation. But I tell you, when it comes to matters of the heart, sometimes mature goes out the window. So you can act mature, but how you feel is another thing. And I don't even know if you want to call it immature, but if you still have feelings for somebody, you still have feelings. So she's talking with her friends about it, and Hendrix uses a lot of vulgar language. And so, like, Hendrix is not my favorite. I like her, but I just don't like all that. But she's a friend. She's a ride or die friend that you need in your life. And they're, basically, telling her, why are you feeling that way? Or are you upset? Just trying to get her to admit her feelings while she's trying to step them down and act like, no, it's good. We're not together or whatever. So she, a gentleman from the South, because they're in Georgia, he's actually a politician, and he is a white man, and he's supposed to be, the way they describe him, he looks good too. It's like everybody in this book looks good. And so he, I think he's blue-eyed, blonde-haired, and he's been having his eye on her. And Kitty D. Ryan does a good job, because every time she describes how he looks at her, to me, it's filled with lust. Like, and okay, people like to be looked at like with that, and there's times when that's appropriate and good, and you're grateful for it or whatever. But I think she wrote that on purpose. It's like, this is not gonna last. This is not what it's gonna be. This is, he's not, maybe doesn't have her heart. He doesn't have her heart in mind. It's more about, how beautiful she is and voluptuous and all of that. So he's been trying to talk to her for a minute. And of course, she's shutting him down. She's got things to do. She's trying to run her businesses. She's back working in the community. She's taking care of her kids and all of that, and trying to take care of her health, mental and physical and all of that. But eventually she's like, well, Josiah's dating, so I'm going to date him. They're at I think it was like a movie in the park kind of thing. And so he ends up coming over by her blanket with Soledad and Hendrix, and he comes in, and it's like the live version of slipping into her DM, in real life. And basically, he wanted to talk to her. He let her know how he's feeling, and she kind of agrees to go out with him. And Josiah's there with Vashti, so they got their blanket too, and all of that. And meanwhile, little Deja, the daughter, she loves Vashti. So imagine how that hurts Yasmin. Imagine how she sees her daughter loving the woman that her dad is with, and she will not love. It feels like she doesn't love her. So anyway, Josiah sees that now, and it's a dual perspective book. So now Josiah's having feelings, and he's like, well, why should I feel that way? She left me. Why am I, and all of that. He doesn't understand what's going on either. Okay, so we go through all of that, and he's questioning her, and he's like, I see the way he looks at you, and he basically calls him fake, or, he doesn't have your best interests at heart, or whatever, when they talk about it. So yeah, we go through all of that, and that's a lot of the book. The way I'm describing it might not sound exciting, but it does keep you engaged. Like, you're just engaged. You want to know what's going to happen. Want to know what these feelings that they're both having, are they going to finally admit that they have them? He's talking to one of his friends, and basically his friend is reading him, you still have feelings for her. And he's like, whatever, she did not want to be with me. And so, his pride, his ego is bruised. He's hurt. And rightfully so. So then it goes on, they kind of have maybe some irritations about it. But what ends up happening is the little boy, Kasim, I believe, because it's been a couple of weeks now since I read the book, but or more actually. Kasim, I think his teacher calls the parents, and they have been, excuse me, in their journal, the kids' journals, his journal, he's been drawing pictures or writing something about really being fearful of losing people in his life. And, it's kind of disturbing, and it's something they feel like the parents need to address. And so, Yasmin's like, we need to get him counseling. And, maybe we should have done counseling all alone, after all of what's happened. And so, Josiah's good with it. He's good with the counseling. And when I think they're in the car or somewhere with Josiah, Yasmin, and Kasim. And, the mom is like, everybody needs help, or, everybody's not always strong, or whatever the case. And then Kasim looks at the dad and he's like, even you, dad? So he's looking at his dad as a model. He sees his dad as strong. And so now he needs this help. Am I not strong? And so the dad is like, yes, everybody, like even me. And so the dad agrees to go get counseling too, so that he can support Kasim and to show him that it's okay. Fast forward, the little boy is going to counseling. He's doing well in counseling. Naturally, he has a fear of losing people. And also, he's really trying to make them happy, and all of that. So that's revealed. Josiah goes to counseling. He's trying to keep his guard up, but he has a good counselor, and it ends up, revealing a lot of things about him. So the counselor kind of helps him understand Yasmin and what she was going through the depression. And the counselor also helps him to understand that he hasn't been able to process death because he's lost so much. He's not able to, and he's just not really even letting it out. And so he helps him through that. And even, I believe, through the counseling, Josiah kind of sees that Vashti is not even really what he wants. And like Yasmin, we'll go back to her. She went on some dates or whatever with Mr. Fine, blue-eyed, blonde-hair politician guy. And he seemed like a nice enough guy, but she knew that she wasn't really feeling him, and she tried to give it a chance, and that's fine, but she knew that she was doing it more because Josiah was dating Vashti. And it ended up with Josiah, he stopped dating Vashti because he realized that although he did have feelings for her and she's a great woman, he did not, he still had feelings for Yasmin. And it wasn't kind of fair to just kind of have her there, knowing that if he could get back with Yasmin, he would. So anyway, as you all have read, they end up getting back together, kind of. They talk about getting back together and working things out, and maybe, and even going back to like living together before they get married. And they're going to try again. And, there's, apologies and all of that. Somebody said about the book is like you have this, all of this tension and everything, and then they're kind of getting back together, and they said then it turns into porn. There is a lot of that, like towards that, where they start kind of rekindling or admitting that they like each other. There's just a lot of steamy scenes, and that's always been a big, I guess, part of their relationship and all of that. But there is the love there, and that's what I appreciate, that this isn't just a book about that, but there is depth and meaning and all of that to it. So they do end up getting back together, although maybe not married, but eventually they do, and they're going to get remarry as well. You get back to Deja and the dynamic with her and the mom. They do end up rekindling their mother-daughter relationship. Josiah ended up helping Deja to realize what her mom actually went through. And Deja just did not know. Again, she's a child. She only can see the surface and what she's able to process. So, they had to describe to her what depression felt like, how her mom really was trying hard, and how she does love them and she does love the dad and why. And so her and the mom, their relationship starts to mend as well. So it's beautiful. I did not do it justice. I love how they got back together. I loved just seeing the journey of them getting back together. I loved seeing the journey of them having these feelings and thoughts, and then them questioning them and wondering. I love the way that they had Josiah just being very stubborn with it. It's like, I love her, but I'm not going to get hurt again. Why should I put myself in that situation? What if she does it again? And her, she almost feels like she has to punish herself for having done it in the first place. How could I even have the audacity to still love him and expect him to want to be back with me? So again, it's a beautiful love story. I don't do it justice. I love the different scenes that they have. It's just so classy. The different scenes and locations and all of that. I love that they made them successful Black people. I love that they made them Black people that are successful, and we see that Black people that are successful have problems too. Everybody does. Again, I love the way she dealt with depression and anxiety. I love that they supported getting help. And I think that's just so important for everybody to know. It's important for men because sometimes men, don't feel like they need to get that help. They're the ones that's supposed to help and fix it. I love that it touches, because sometimes in the African American community, the Black community, oftentimes there's a stigma with that, and that's getting better, but we can keep talking about it and promoting that. I love the book. I loved it. I love that they show that love is not easy. It's not just all snowflakes and sweets and chocolate and all of that. It's hard, and there's a lot to work through, and in life there's a lot to work through and get through. Great character development for all the characters, like from the kids to the parents. Great character development. Looking forward to the next. I don't know if it's like a sequel or if it's just a companion novel or what it is, but looking forward to the next book about Soledad. And I know you didn't watch this if you haven't read the book, because now I've told you a lot or everything. I probably left out a good chunk of stuff though. But if you haven't read it by chance and you just decide to listen to me talk about it, please go out and pick up this book. Just know there is a lot of trigger warnings. I've kind of said them in there in the video, but there's a lot of trigger warnings. But if it's not going to affect you, mentally, it's worth it. The book is worth it. So that is my discussion and review on Kennedy Ryan's Before I Let Go. Kennedy Ryan, you are now one of my new favorite authors. What an amazing work. I see the hype. I see it, and I'm looking forward to reading more. With that said, I hope you all have a great day. Please be blessed. Please be blessed and be book nerdy.